guys, good morning. So I want to do a video here on my experience visiting Centralia, Pennsylvania. We went yesterday. Me and a couple of my buddies went for a ride. I live in Pennsylvania, so it was only about I'd say about 2.5 hour drive away from where I live. So we decided to go on a road trip and go check it out. If you're not familiar with Centralia, I recommend going on YouTube and finding some documentaries. Basically, in a nutshell, I'll kind of give you a rundown right now. Is it's a town that was built over top of there's a lot of coal underneath this town. They didn't. I guess they knew that the coal was all underneath this town. And we're going years back, guys. This is nothing recent. And this town of Centralia, you know, there was houses and businesses and everything you think of. It's a regular town. Well, anyway, they had this burn dump at one end of the town, and every month or so they would burn their trash. Now we're talking way back. We're going way back years ago. They would burn their trash. Like a junkyard type of deal. Well, little did they know that when they were burning their trash this one particular time, the fire got so hot that it actually got into some of these mining caves that are throughout the town and underneath the town, and it caught the coal on fire. So over time, very quickly actually, the fire started traveling underground underneath of this town, and people were pretty much forced to move out. I mean, it was devastating. It was breaking up the concrete, coming up through the cement. I mean, it just got bad to worse. And the crazy part is from what I understand, they could have, if the townspeople, from what I understand from one of the documentaries I watched, was the mayor had the opportunity where they could have stopped the fire from traveling it any further underground by digging a trench ahead of the fire and then putting the fire out and containing it so it didn't get into the town as a whole, for as little as something like $1,000 back then. I mean, back then it was a lot of money compared to today's standards, but that's all it would have taken was $1,000 to stop the fire, and the town would still today be thriving. But so anyway, townspeople were kind of not really forced to leave. I mean, they could leave if they wanted, but there's a lot of townspeople of Centralia that ended up staying back then. Over the years, businesses aren't building around there, and production and all that. So over the years, people stopped. People would just start moving out slowly and surely. Then, from what I understand, there's today. I mean, it was as early as 2009. There was one person still living in the old town of Centralia, and from what I understand, he doesn't live there anymore. Anyway, back to my road trip, our investigation, if you will. And another fun fact is the video game Silent Hill and the horror movie Silent Hill. That's kind of where that movie, that's where it derived from, was this town in upstate Pennsylvania called Centralia. That's where they got the idea, because of an abandoned town and everything. Now, obviously, it's a horror movie, a horror video game. They had to put their own little twist on it to make it scarier than it actually was. But, anything like that, anything like an abandoned town or abandoned houses or anything like that, it's all creepy in its own right, in my opinion. So, back to, I'm trying to not stray away from our experiences yesterday on the road trip, but I do want to give you some background on Centralia and what it's all about, because if I don't explain that, then it's kind of pointless, our experiences. So we got there, right? It's me and 3 of my buddies. We get there, 2.5 hour drive, like I said. We get there, and we, we have we're city guys. We don't know. We're out in the mountains, and we don't know. We get to the town Centralia, judging by the GPS, what it's telling us is telling us, oh, you're here. Well, because of all the years, I mean, there's been grown, things have changed, so, we have no idea where the hell we are. Like, we're expecting this town, like, all abandoned. No, most of the houses are torn down, plots of land, grass and trees have grown over. I mean, you wouldn't, in my mind, I thought I was going to go into a town, like, all empty houses, like, ghost town type of deal. It's nothing like that. They did, and we even had, now, the 2 main things that I wanted to catch while I was there. Now, I didn't want to get my hopes up. I knew it wasn't going to be like the video game or the horror movie Silent Hill, but I knew it was going to be pretty significant, with, the steam coming out of, certain caverns, rocks and things, and big, cracks in the ground. And then the other one is a graffiti highway, or graffiti road. That's basically one of the main roads that went through Centralia back in its heyday. And I tell you what, guys, I got some awesome photos. There's this crack in the middle of the road. That's probably at its biggest crack point is about, I'd say about 4 feet wide. I mean, and the ground's uneven. So it's freaky. It looks like and it's cement road. It looks like a damn, like an earthquake just happened. I mean, it's pretty cool looking. I mean, I actually got pictures of me. I threw one of my horror masks on for the Facebook page, and I'm standing inside the crack with this, like, creepy, like, demonic horror mask that I have. Got some photos. You'll see that. Look for that. I'm probably going to do a slideshow of the photos I took. But I did. I took everything. I took a couple video cameras. I took a photo camera to take pictures. I mean, I was well prepared for the trip. And like I said, as far as the videos, it's going to take a while for me to properly edit them, and there's a lot of wasted time of us walking through trails and stuff. So I'm going to try and cherry pick the best stuff out of the videos and then put them up on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. We had a blast. I mean, me and my friends, we kid around, joke around, we crack jokes. You'll hear us in the videos making, doing crazy stuff. I mean, we just entertain ourselves that way. But yeah, Graffiti Road, amazing, guys. This thing, I never thought I'd say that about graffiti, but it's a 1.5 mile road that goes from top to bottom. It's a hill. We actually saw 4-wheelers and ATVs. We saw, guys riding up and down, having fun. So that was pretty cool. It must be a local, riding spot. But we're walking down the hill, and as we're walking down the road, Graffiti Road, there's no spot, literally no spot of empty concrete without paint on it, spray paint. People from all over come and they spray paint whatever they want. I mean, there is nothing left to imagination. You name it, it's spray painted somewhere on the road. I mean, everything. There's some very graphic things spray painted, very nice things. I saw a snowman that was pretty nice, real, kid friendly. But then there's other things that are like, whoa, what the heck is that? What am I looking at? A lot of male genitalia was spray painted up and down the road. I mean, that was kind of weird. I mean, and the part that pissed me off, guys, was there's some awesome artwork, some nice graffiti artwork. I mean, really professional stuff. And then some asshole would spray paint a male genitalia over top of it. I mean, what the hell? So, anyway, but I tried to capture some of the freaky parts of the graffiti. Some of the stuff, the earliest thing I think we saw, the earliest graffiti art that we saw I think was 95 was one of the dates we saw, 1995. We didn't see anything too much before that. Now, over the years, people spray paint graffiti on top of graffiti, so the old stuff is probably underneath the newer stuff. The funny part is there's a lot of Trump graffiti, you know, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. I mean, there's both that in some different areas. So that's how kind of recent, that's just to gauge the timeline of the recency of some of these things. But I tried to capture the, you know, the odd stuff. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for some of the odd stuff, whether it was capturing it with my video camera or just taking some still photos. There's a lot of Illuminati symbols, a lot of the, you know, the triangle with the eye in the center, a lot of that. I also saw some, you know, cow heads. One was on spray paint on a rock, and it was in red, and it looked like it had like blood, like really creepy. And then there was several cow heads throughout the mile and a half roadway. So between the Illuminati, the cow heads, and just some creepy, like demonic looking, you know, drawings in general. I mean, but then, like I said, I mean, I was kind of looking for those. It's so hard to see everything. I mean, I could probably walk that mile and a half road. We did walk it back and forth one time, and each time when I went down and came back up, I saw new things that I didn't see going down. So it's pretty cool. There is some tourism. We saw another couple from New Jersey, Glassboro. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw him a shout out right now. His page is called, let me see, I hope I get this right, Roads to Nowhere. Roads to Nowhere. That's his page, and he was taking some photos too. But yeah, it was just an awesome experience. I mean, even some of the trees, some people did the trees and the branches in different color spray paint, and it's so art looking. I mean, when you're looking at the graffiti road closely, up close, I mean, you see the different spray paint, you know, the images, and it's neat looking. But at one point I was halfway down the hill, the road, and I looked up the top of the road, and the way the sun was shining down off of the spray paint and then the trees on either side, I mean, it was just a thing of beauty, guys. I mean, that what's that saying? Beauty out of chaos or something like that. Like I said, all this spray paint, when you're looking at it close, it looks like just a bunch of jumbled, you know, images and people doing whatever. But when you look back up the hill, it almost looks like flowers. I mean, it's weird. You'll see it in the videos. I even mentioned it in one of the videos. It's just pretty. It's really amazing to look at. So that was one of my favorite parts. Seeing that gigantic crack in the road was very decent. That was cool to see. And then our next thing that we're trying to do was find where the steam and smoldering coal was coming up out of the rocks and caverns. We really didn't find that to the extent I wanted to, but we did go off one trail off of this graffiti road, and down at the end of the trail we found some boulders and rocks, and sure enough, in between some of the rocks there was hot steam coming out of the rocks. I caught it on camera. It's hard to see on camera, but when you're there you can definitely feel the heat coming out of, you know, in between the rocks. Matter of fact, I even found, check this out, a pretty sizable piece of coal just laying on the ground. I mean, huge piece of coal. I'd never find something like this around where I live, unless I dug, you know, 6 feet down in the ground, maybe. This is just laying on top on the trail. I picked it up. I mean, it's it's a pretty big piece. So anyway, so we're sitting there and we're looking at the steam coming out in between the rocks and all. It was pretty cool. So I accomplished the two things that I wanted to accomplish. One is get together with my friends that, you know, we like to get out and hang out. We haven't done that in a while. Two is Graffiti Road. Awesome. I'll never forget that. That was one of my, favorite parts of going on this trip, was just seeing this. It's just amazing to me. Oh, by the way, I live in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and we're right outside of Philadelphia. And I did see some Philadelphia graffiti, and some. I even saw a Delco graffiti on that road too. So there's other people from my way traveling up there. But anyway, back to so that number 2 was the Graffiti Road, and then number 3 was just getting the opportunity to see some of that steam and smoke from deep underground coming up out of the out of the stones, out of the boulders and rocks there. That was the third thing. We did see the old graveyard. I don't think I got any photos of that. That'd be kind of morbid to take photos of the graveyard anyway. So, but we did see that at one point, and that's how we knew we were kind of in the general area. The town was all basically decimated, and they left the graveyard there. So, that's they redid. I mean, some of the headstones did look newer to me. I mean, they weren't older looking, so they must have redid some of the headstones over time. But that was about the gist of the trip. I mean, I'm trying to think. My one buddy did say he saw, thought he saw something in the woods behind another friend of mine. He said he saw something in the back in the clearing. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was some type of energy, if you would, around those areas. I mean, it is kind of in its own right, got its own creepiness to it. And then in the new town of Centralia, it's not Centralia, but the town that's closest to the old Centralia, it was strange, guys. We drove through the new town, and I mean, there's a lot of homes and businesses, but it was weird. We didn't see anybody really walking around outside, like on the streets. It was creepy. We see cars and stuff, but one of my friends said it almost looks like it's a staged town, because there was nobody walking around, like around my way. I could go out front right now of my house and see someone walking down the street. Around here, it was just, I mean, I guess everyone was at work. I don't know. It was just kind of creepy in its own little way. But when we were coming back through the town on the way home, I did see a few people walking around. But yeah, that was something that I wanted to mention in the video too. But yeah, so it was just a fun time. It was a nice little adventure. We did a nice little investigation. We do plan on doing other things like this in the future. We got another couple hot spots we want to check out. This was kind of like our first test run that we wanted to try. It's funny, I'm starting to get my friends into some of this investigating and going to these different places. They're finally following step. And we just, like I said, we goof off the whole time that we're there. We're cracking jokes and everything else. My one buddy, he actually laid in the crack on the road and held our famous horror stash sign, like he fell in the crack and like he's like a dead man in the crack. You'll see that on this photo slideshow. But we just have fun with it. And it was a fun time. So look for those videos. I don't know if I'm going to try and edit some of them today. Maybe I'll get them up later on tonight. If not, look for them within the next few days. The only other part that I wanted to mention, guys, too, is now I'm thinking of it. Had a couple weird dreams. I had a pretty freaky dream the night before, because we were leaving early in the morning to get on the road. Didn't sleep well that night, the night before, and then actually last night didn't sleep well either. Had kind of some crazy dreams. Now I don't know if that's just because everything was on my mind, it was something different or what, but I did have some odd dreams, to say the least. So I thought that was worth mentioning in the video too. But yeah, it was a great time. I definitely recommend it. I mean, I wouldn't say drive. If you're within a couple hours or something, it's worth a drive. But coming from another state or whatever. I mean, it's up to you, but it is very cool. It's like once on, you know, it's for me. I mean, I'll probably never be up there again. I mean, I'm not really. I did it, so I'm happy with it. Um, but you know, it was just a great experience to say the least. It was just, you know, you'll see in the videos, you know, the fun we were having. You'll see in the photos, the still photos I took. It was just something different. Had a lot of fun. But that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. Like I said, look for those videos. Look for those still pictures. I'll probably turn the stills into a slideshow. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to do more things like this in the future. Just had a blast. Just had a great time. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.